Hello to you beautiful people. Welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. I'm Mrs. Best, and we have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. Support my girl. Let's get her up to 1,000 subscribers this month. Come on, the month is still young, y'all. Come on.
Thank you. We are on the journey to monetization. James is on that journey as well. Feel free to subscribe to his channel as well. The link is always in the description of this video. Check out our playlist. I make playlists for all the shows that we do with James. Check the playlist out. Give him a like, a subscribe, all of those things. But we are here to go over Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Times the Breaks is the name of the episode, season 12, episode 16. Listen, I was not impressed with this episode at all, and I will not lie about that. I just wasn't. And I love Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I was, but they're just like the cast, you could tell there's division amongst them, especially in the dynamic of filming, I think, this season, and especially in this episode. So we start with Bambi talking Scrappy down after he decided to throw a drink at Chaotic at dinner. And Scrappy's mad. I'm like, oh, Bambi, you calming him down. Interesting. Very interesting. But Chaotic ended up leaving early. I was annoyed because Spice is acting worried about her performance and all this stuff. But it's like, what did you expect when before y'all came to London, they just literally physically had an altercation on stage? Now you surprised people still having altercations not on stage? What the hell you expect?
I just feel like, first off, I was chaotic. I would have left too. The situation is stupid.
Yeah.
First off, and then second off, Spice, you know what this TV show is,
Mm-hmm.
and it shouldn't matter y'all being in London that the situation and circumstances won't change. We know the turn up is for the TV. This is how they get y'all. This is how they get us recapping it and the people viewing. So for you to be throwing all of these tantrums and all this, it's just so unnecessary. It's like, you know what this is. You do it your damn self.
Yeah, Spice is kind of... I'm glad she's leaning more into the music, but she was the one who, for seasons, we didn't even want her on the show because she is constantly fighting. So she don't really get, in my opinion, get to complain about other people doing what she did.
Right. It was a
how many events has she ruined? Child, how many trips and events has she ruined? So I'm like, But that's that for that. Yandy and Medicis are in Chicago, and they are doing something related to politics, but because I believe they had mentioned dealing with the Democratic National Convention. Yandy has been into politics really since COVID. I actually respect her for what she is doing, consistently advocating for African-American people. I respect what she's trying to do. But the whole time I was extremely distracted by her wig in this scene. It was... you could tell she didn't have no hair, no makeup available. So she just threw the wig over the braids on her head. And I just don't want her to do that no more.
It was given very much Apollonia 6.
Damn.
It was. It was given very much Apollonia 6. And it was like, okay, Andy. Okay.
I don't know why she's on this show anymore. She's trying to discuss Jock and Kendra. Mendices is like, that ain't my business. I'm not going to get into that. And I kind of agreed with him. It's like, discuss your own stuff.
Right.
They shouldn't be on the show anymore. They don't really have much to give.
I've been saying this about them since what season of New York? Season 7. When did he go off to prison? They ain't had a storyline since then. I'm tired of them. I'm so glad, but it could be worse, Mrs. Best. We could be dealing with them baby mamas again. And I don't want to deal with them. So it could be worse. So let's just count our blessings, because obviously, as I told y'all, I feel like Mona owed Yandy some money because this was originally Yandy's idea. And they're going to keep her on the show for the network money because she probably gets paid more than all of them. And I'm almost sure, and I'm going to say allegedly, probably all of them put together. Which is why they barely got any budget, probably. But I'm going to just say this, because watching this episode, and I say this all the time, I'm really mad that MTV picked this up. I'm really
Hmm.
like, nothing grinds my gears more than seeing a show that was already established, already somewhat of a greatness of entertainment, be this dull and be this like contrived like drama that just isn't fulfilling. Like I don't care. Like I really don't when it comes to this franchise anymore. And that's sad because I used to love this one.
Hmm. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Because it's everywhere, y'all. It's all over the place. Now, the next thing we see in the next scene is Lil Zane is on the phone with Ashley talking about a British protest or something that was happening. The whole thing was kind of funny. And because it's like, oh, you calling your chick, but as we see the way he act the rest of this episode, I'm gonna have a lot of questions for Zane. Zane will be read for filth probably from beginning to end of this episode. But in this scene, he will not be read. Chaotic, he sees him and he hangs up on his chick to talk to Chaotic, and Chaotic's like, I'm leaving. And if we think back to Loving Hip Hop Miami in the earlier seasons when we first met Chaotic, this was back when Chameleon and Sukihana and Hood Brat was all on the show. And we met Chaotic, and he was still actively involved in crime, fresh out of jail. Like he was really in the streets doing things that he should not be doing. And so it's nice to see his growth in what he said. Uh, he went from committing felonies to getting sober. He said he don't drink no more, he don't smoke no more, and his focus is protecting his bag, his peace, and his career. And so he said the best thing he can do instead of crashing out is to walk away. The thing about Scrappy is Scrappy one of them people who, in my opinion, is a fake ass gangster, aka he wants to be harder than he really is. I don't know how many other people agree with me with that. Um, his mama was a pimp and then turned to a nurse. So, it's not, while he may not have had the best upbringing in terms of moral examples and behavioral examples, he is not somebody who like to make it seem like he just had this horrible struggle and all of that. So I'd be looking like, Scrap, you do too much. But people who really know what they're capable of will walk away for your benefit, not just their own. So I was glad to see Chaotic leave the trip because a piece of me feels like Scrap just wants a moment for the camera. He don't got nothing else to talk about. Bambi's moved on. He and Bambi are cool. Shay is over it. His mama ain't doing too much this season. There's not much going on with him of interest. Erica Dixon will come back to the show, but not as a full-time cast member. She refuses to, so he don't have too much. So I feel like Scrap wants to fight with Chaotic so that there's some type of relevance. So I was glad he left. How'd you feel about Chaotic leaving?
I feel like it was the smart thing to do when you're not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just goes to show that Scrappy is trying to make this for TV, and I think he really did value his friendship with Scrappy, but Scrappy just dropped the ball. And a lot of people's like, no, Scrappy didn't drop no ball. His own mama says she won't go into business with him. So what that tells me is that you dropped the ball with this situation with Chaotic. And the only reason why you acting out is because this is a check that you know you can get off of his expense. So I would have left too, so you wouldn't get that opportunity.
Mm. I agree with that. I agree with that. Because that's all it was. That's really all it was. His Scrap's
Mm.
beef and what he's mad about don't even make no sense, which we're going to discuss that a little bit later. Now, for some reason, Spice brings Scrappy and Bambi to a prestigious event in London to watch. What is that called?
I forgot. I know
Polo.
what you're talking. Yeah.
Polo. Polo. I'm
Yes,
so
yes,
sorry,
yes.
y'all. I'm not a big sports person. I'm just not. I like basketball. I love tennis. Love it. But polo, anything
I didn't
else,
have
I'm
nice enough clothes to go when I was in Miami, so that's why
Oh yeah, there's like a whole dress code
there
to
is.
it.
I
It's
didn't
like
have
a
nice enough
thing.
clothes. I've definitely been invited to go. I just look. You got to dress up when you there, and it's hot as hell in Miami, so that's why I never went.
It's not just
But it
nice
is something
clothes
I do
you'll
want to
need.
see.
You'll need whole body perspirant, antiperspirant, hell. Um, but they're at this event, and I feel like Spice messed up here. And this is where I'm annoyed. I don't know if MTV is forcing people to do things the way they want to do it versus letting things be natural. But to me, it felt like Spice, when she said she chose to have Bambi and Scrappy come with her because to get away from all the commotion. And I'm like, you're rewarding bad behavior because the commotion is literally centered around Bambi and Scrappy. And they're taking no accountability for anything that they do. This is why I think they still meant to be. But it's almost like Spice rewarded them but for their bad behavior by inviting them to Polo. But Scrappy and Bambi end up going off to the side, just the two of them, and they discuss the altercation from the previous night with Chaotic. And this is where Bambi tells Scrappy that Chaotic left. And Scrappy had the audacity to say that Chaotic needs to choose different words when talking to him and says that uh, Chaotic needs to work on his vocabulary. I know he got some nerve talking about anybody else's vocabulary when he himself cannot form proper sentences, does not know how to properly enunciate words, and refers to every woman he sleep with it, me and old girl, or my baby mama, or me and this and that. A man whose mama still dictates the status of his relationships, who didn't
As soon
understand
as he
credit,
said
who had
that,
to
I'm
have
just
his
like,
auntie.
as soon as he said that, the immediate thought that popped in my head is that he says beautiful. She's very beautiful. That was the first thing that popped in my head when I first saw that. I was like,
If you
wow,
can't speak well yourself, don't
right.
comment on other people.
And
Scrappy is mad for no
yes,
reason, in my
and to
opinion.
me, why would that be the only issue that you have with him?
Something else happened.
Yes. Like all of this has happened and been contrived on TV, and that's the issue you have, that he needs to have better communication and enunciate his words. This is how you know this is bullshit. This is how
Scrappy
you
needs
know
to
this is bullshit.
communicate better because we're lost.
We're lost. We don't know what you're really angry about. We don't know if you're angry about the business venture or you angry that he posted your family at his expense because he got monetized for it. We don't know what you're really angry at. All we know is that you're angry, and the only thing you can come up with is he needs to enunciate his words. Something you don't even do your damn self. But okay, 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 Scrappy.
Scrappy has a history of being bad with business. His own mama, as James said in the last live, will not even go into business with him. So I'm not surprised. He just wants to look innocent. Scrappy feels like Chaotic is playing the victim, and Bambi literally just stood there and enabled him. I'm like, either Bambi really believed it and feels for her baby daddy, or Bambi is just a yes man to get him to shut the hell up.
Or she probably was trying to keep herself from laughing like I was.
It's weird that two men are so invested. That's how I feel. But production catches like some slight little moments between Bambi and Scrap, and he's like, "You look good though." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yes, oh
So she
Lord, get
says
them
with
off
a
my
smile
screen.
to the camera that she don't still want that man. I believe that she don't want to be with him in a relationship ever again, but I do believe she'd sit on it from time to time as needed, and that's her business.
Right.
That is
I think too much has been done
mm-hmm.
for her to really want to even like entertain him again. Like I think the damage has already been done. Like there's nothing further that can we do. They just have to be copacetic for the sake of the children because there are three of them, and
Yeah,
I just feel
small.
like, and they're small little baby children. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a mess, but that's all that happened there. For some reason, Lil Zane takes the women out on a boat trip, even though he has not taken his wife on any nice trips since being on this show. But he took the women on London on a boat trip. They all discussed Chaotic because Zane was really kind of defending Scrappy heavy. And I'm getting annoyed with Amy because it's like we don't care if Scrap messaged you. Y'all literally play in Bambi's face last season, and you've been saying stuff because she dating someone you slept with over a decade ago. Like I don't care if y'all not together, especially in real time. I do not care. We know she's dating her question mark of a basketball player right now, and we gonna let her have that. But It seems like everybody is alluding to knowing some tea about Scrappy. I'm pretty sure the tea, which was confirmed later, is about the fact that he has a maybe baby running around. Um, I'll comment on that towards the end of the show so that is easier to discuss. But why are y'all so focused on discussing Scrap? Talk about your own relationships.
I was just
Talk
gonna say,
about your own
like,
careers.
and why? And this is what I'm telling. This is what I'm talking about in TV. Nobody else had anything else going on.
Right.
Nobody else had anything else going on. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Jock and Kendra. I'm talking about Yandy and Mendices. I'm talking about Kirk and Rashida. I'm talking about everybody. Nobody else has anything else going on to where the focus is Scrappy and the Maybe Baby and then his beef with Chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
This is all we have.
It's time for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was legendary for many seasons, especially I would say like seasons 1 to 6, legendary reality television. But I think that keeping people like Rashida and Kurt, keeping people like Scrap and Bambi, keeping people like Carly Red, Yandy and Mendices, it's time, and Spice. Also, I think it's time for them all to go, especially Rashida, who doesn't even make hip hop music anymore, and Kirk, who's not managing hip hop music anymore. Yandy is not managing musical artists anymore. They got to get rid of people in order to bring relevance. Because you brought a good point. There's clearly nothing else that people really have too much to discuss. And the next person who has something to discuss is Zayn, because they then question his behavior on the trip as a whole and how he's been trying to hit on different women and kind of live his best life. And his excuse, he pulls the Stevie J BS and is like, you know, I'm a rock star and men aren't buying my music, women are. So this is why I'm acting this way. Ain't nobody listening to Lil Zane. I ain't heard nobody say in the club that, hey, put on that new Lil Zane. Put on my rock star. I ain't heard nobody say that. I'm sure somebody is listening to him because he is known. But in terms of his new music and his old music, I'm not sure who he's referring to in his fan base. Now, I understand when he was younger in the early 2000s, for those of you who might be like Gen Z or whatever generation, I think millennials were like
I
the
think, yeah,
last ones to
he
really
follows under the
appreciate.
millennial tribe. He does. He follows under
He
this.
does. But that was like for us, for me and James, like when Lil Zane was popping, that was over 24 years ago at this time.
Let me explain something to y'all. If it wasn't Dr. Doolittle 2 or
Yep.
Fighting Temptation,
Yep.
I can't tell you a Lil Zane song. That's
Ooh.
the only time I have seen that man is in them two movies. And if he made music, great, buddy. We happy for you. But today, no. I ain't I forgot all about him until I had to really look in Google and say, "Oh my gosh, Blast from the Past." I don't know because both of those movies were great, but yeah, no, 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 no. And y'all not gonna do this to me. This was like, who else did they bring back out of nowhere that we ain't seen in 35 years that want to come back and try to be relevant again? I can't think of.
It's been a few,
There's been a
but
few of them, yeah, but
his
he's
last
another one.
like hit, I'm looking at Spotify right now, year 2000. Yeah, that
He
was
was a.
25 years.
I'm sure he was a better actor than rapper.
Yeah, yeah. He was never known really for like the rapping. He did some big features and he did have like one or two hits. He was kind of popular like with the teeny boppers like Bow Wow and Lil Romeo, all of that. But yeah, I agree with all of that. But he out here acting a fool and trying to blame it on the women. My point bringing up his old career is that, you know, he was a heartthrob. Like he wasn't known to have much talent, but he was nice to look at for the young girls and the young boys that like boys. I'm trying to tell you, he was nice to look at, but that's really it for me. I never like recognized him or thought of him as like this great talent. I'll get at to Bow Wow before I give it to Zayn. But you know, Zayn is disgusting to me. Stevie J was like into some mess as well with the Jocelyn and Mimi thing. And then we saw Jock with Carly and a couple other people and Kendra and a couple other people. So I get that they're trying to like keep the show interesting by bringing somebody on who kind of ain't shit and will do whatever in front of the camera, but it's old, it's corny, and it's disingenuous when it comes to Zayn. Because in real time, we looking like that's how you age, but that's just me. Now back in Atlanta, don't laugh at me, James. Back in Atlanta, Rashida Kirk, Erica Banks, Saucy Santana, and Sierra Gates, they all meet up. Erica's performing. She has a new album coming out. I'm not gonna get at her BBL, y'all, because she says she just wants to keep making her ass as big as it can be. She does not care. So she says, we know she looks a damn fool. She does not care. So I'll leave it there. But she performs her song, and I was looking at this saying, like, these are the people of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta who are actually making music, with the exception of Sierra, who are actually getting somewhere with the music that they're making, and or who have successful businesses but don't want to deal with the BS. That's how I felt looking at this, because I'm like, okay, Sierra don't really talk to none of them no more. She just married it on TV till they cut her check. Saucy Santana, you could tell he's just stuck. Last season, it went for him trying to bring light to trans rights, trans struggles, things that people struggle with in the LGBTQ community, showing his mom the relationship that they have, what they've overcome, to like, he's just in scenes from time to time reading Zell. Erica Banks is focused on her career, finishing out her contract, so we don't get much from her. Rashida and Kirk give nothing, are nothing, and need to go. I'm looking at all these people like, so y'all just got together all the people that don't got no actual bonds or not doing much and put them in the scene. But we got updates from Saucy, who says that he's not talking to Zell Swag. Okay. And he, whatever, same drama. We got updates on Erica. She has an album coming out. Kirk and Rashida claim that they've overcome and have moved past the BS with Jasmine. Okay. I didn't care about this. I didn't. They discussed the Cypher performance where everybody got at each other last season and fought on stage, and they discussed Jasmine and Erica, her friend Erica Racine, getting into it with Yandy and Mendices. And okay, James, maybe James would do better than me, y'all.
No, I can't do better than you because it's like, then what was
You
the
felt
point?
the same way?
Because it was like, well, then what was the point of doing? Why put us through all of this? Get them off my screen. MTV, look, I'm tired of y'all. Either y'all gonna do it right or don't do it at all.
Thank you. Shut the fuck up, MTV, or put the cigarette out is a
Right.
terminology I like to use all the time. Put all these people cigarettes out. They're successful and they don't need the show.
Or if y'all gonna, or I need a new cast.
Yeah.
I need a new cast. Or MTV, I need a new show concept. YouTube has plenty of shows. Plenty of shows that are reality TV based that y'all can pick up, actually give them the money that they well deserve. Because a lot of those YouTube reality TV shows deserve a good network to be behind them, but also give
Yeah.
them the money of their just dues, because y'all giving it to Team Mom and Jersey Shore as if we're really that invested in those shows.
Right. Especially with both of those shows, Teen Mom and Jersey Shore, it's the same thing. Especially Jersey Shore. I stopped watching that family reunion seasons ago because I said, oh, they do the same thing. And then they change their minds at the reunion. And then they come back and the same thing happens. But they get so much promo, so much play, and it's just not deserved. Same thing with Bravo. They keep promoting Housewives of New York City, the reboot, but they have the lowest ratings that Bravo has had, they say, in decades of any show on the network. So it's just a lot going on that doesn't make sense and that I'm sick of. Hello, spouse. My husband is home. Lord help us. It's okay if you're late, Quay. Better late than never, darling. Better late than
We
never.
really ain't. We just got into the meat and potatoes yet. We just,
Not the meat, but
we just got
not
into the
much
meat.
happened on this episode. I'm like
No.
hoping it's a bridge, but it didn't give bridge. But yeah, I don't really care for that whole scene. Like they're trying to make it a thing for Yandy and Mendices and the whole issue with Erica and them. And I just get rid of Kirk and Rashida, let it go. But back in London, we see a performance of an artist that is especially popular in the UK. It was Lady Leisure. I think I'm saying it correctly. So
Mhm.
I like to see British artists. Hey, them British rappers and stuff, y'all. On a serious note, they be going hard. Well, in my opinion, I listen to rap from the UK because I'm not normal, and Australia. Fun fact. Play around with your music. But I am baffled, and I know James gonna have something to say. She said, "I got some things to say on this one. Speak your mind, boo. Speak your mind. Release your inhibitions." Um, Bambi caught Zayn trying to exchange numbers or Instagrams, however you people do it these days, with a fan. I'm using air quotes. Bambi and Amy call it out, but I was hollering because Bambi said, hey, bro, you know the camera's filming you, right?" It was that's how you know. Bambi said, "From one side chick to a man who has many. You realize the camera's filming you, right? You realize they filming you." She's like, "Stop what you're doing. You're on camera." Hello, my twin. Welcome back. Welcome back. No
I'm gonna be
worries. No
honest with you.
worries.
Ashley already know what it is.
Thank you. Preach,
Ashley
Queen.
already know what it is. So I'm more enthralled by the fact that women are actually giving him the time of day. I'm just like, y'all don't see what we see. Maybe it looked different in person than on camera. And then I had to think about me in that situation. I said, it's that dimple. I was like, I know exactly what it is. Okay. I got, because for the life of me, I couldn't understand. And they could say the camera, he on TV, so clout. But I actually know what this is. I'm sure this has happened a few other times before, as we saw. So they maybe y'all just need to mind y'all business and just let him fall on his own sword.
Thank you. Thank you. Because you never know what kind of arrangement or agreement they got. And secondly, what is telling her going to do to change his behavior? Not much. Let him do what he gonna do. He grown, she grown, it ain't your business.
Because the last thing I want to see is another Jock and Kendra. Because
Which
I
we
feel like
have.
that's what they're gonna give me.
Hollering,
Yeah.
hollering, just
And I
straight
don't and
hollering.
I don't have the energy. I just don't. Ashley's already a lot. So I don't
Yeah,
have
she
the
is.
energy. I don't have the energy. I really don't. So I don't care. Let him get whoever's number he trying to get because they're in a different country. It's not like it matters. She should have brought her ass on
Anybody
the trip.
on this trip who was married or has a relationship could have brought their spouse also, even if not filming. Like, my husband not gonna go to London and not bring me with him. Even if I can't be like on the camera, I'll be by him in the room, not on the camera. Like,
Right.
so it's like you didn't bring your wife. I'm looking at you with a side eye saying she probably at home with his kids. And her one. But Carly Red presses Zane about a threesome with his wife, and things got like really awkward. They tried to make it more than it was from the edit when they showed us the little preview for the show. So essentially, Carly's like, "Hey, this isn't right. This is your wife, and me and your wife is cool." And Zane is like, "Well, y'all couldn't be that cool because you gave me your hotel key." He made it seem like this is something that happened recently, but Carly Red was like, "Yes, I did 20 years ago," which I believe because 20 years ago he was at the height of his career, and 20 years ago she was still doing videos and stuff for artists. So it would make sense that that was the case. But he also claimed he did not go to her room and all of that. I don't really care because Carly Red done slept with so many people and has 1,700, 652.79 and three-fourths of engagement. She's had so many engagements. I don't care. Carly Red gets around, Lil Zane gets around, so it wouldn't surprise me. And Ashley seemed like she get around, so I
Right.
don't care.
First of all, I feel like Carly Red can melt all of the engagement rings she had and it would turn into a wristwatch. So I feel like for me, she's not the person to be, you know, saying anything about somebody cheating or somebody being with somebody. And then also, yeah, I believe it too. I believe the same thing happened. I do.
Yeah.
Um, Just because, as I said, who at that time when you really look at what he looks like back then, yeah, I would have gave.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, it would have definitely would have happened.
What
So
men fail to realize, especially men like Zayn, is the same way that they be lusting for women like, ooh, she fine, let me hit, is some single women be saying the same thing about men. Ooh, he fine, I'ma sit. So I mean, okay, Zayn, whatever. And he's not that cute. No, he's not shiny girl. He show ain't. Quay said, did y'all mention Carly in that skirt on the boat?
no, because it was very Carly-esque to do.
I'm tired of Carly in
Yeah, we
boats.
saw. Yeah, you
I'm
know,
so tired
I
of
mean,
Carly in
Carly.
boats.
I'm telling you, it's so sad when you look at a person who's old enough to order off the senior citizens menu at Denny's, sit up here on TV and act the way she do. It's so sad.
Shout out to Denny. Shout out to Denny's.
Shout out to Denny's
Uh,
because you know it's a good breakfast at 3 o'clock in the morning when you know just getting off work.
Denny's has saved my life so many times when I'm drunk and hungover, and I just want to thank them for their French toast slam. That's all. That's it, and that's all. They got to work on the turkey bacon, but other than that,
Well,
we're all
they make
right.
it in general.
Yeah, yeah. Not like it was back in the day. If you
Mm-mm.
could even find a doggone, thank you, babe. If you could even find, apologies, y'all. The husband came home, a doggone Denny's. Sorry, it muted me. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Carly in the skirt and boats. Like we just saw her crying on a boat back when Erica Mena was on the show, like crying. Everyone's arguing and she's just trying to survive. So I'm like, Carly needs to go too. It's time for her to take her AARP card, get her good senior discounts, and keep it moving. She could get into Disneyland for 30% off. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out why these folks sold their souls to Mona. James is gonna love you for that because he says this. Are y'all watching? James says this so often. It's all because it's all connected to Mona. It's all connected to her. It all comes
It's
back to
like
her.
I would have to be so desperate out of my mind to really think to do some crazy stuff like selling my soul to that pimp the way that people do. I'm just saying, like, don't get me wrong, it was brilliant TV when it first started. It really was. Like, it was brilliant TV. But now it's getting to a point where if people actually believe these storylines, God bless you and bless every part of your heart. Just saying.
I can't stand you. Every part of your heart. You sounded like my grandma. Shout out to my nana. I'm gonna go see her. I feel like she might have cooked something. Uh Let me see here. Quay's laughing at us. We're not normal. Just bear with us. Are y'all watching It's Wild and they don't even get a penny of what she makes? Preach. Preach. A lot
That's
of
why I
people.
said it's pimp. Like, to me, I feel like if she realistically was good at what she did, she would have been the Black Kris Jenner.
Preach.
If she was really smart. But this goes to show you how society and networks and TV look at the difference between Kris Jenner, who does this exact same thing, but is a billionaire, and then we got little Mona over there.
Yeah, Mona, I think she did go back to like managing artists. I know SWV is one of them.
Mhm.
I believe at one point she was managing Escape. She's managing several actually very large name artists. And I feel like that is taking away from her ability to pay attention to this show in the proper way, if that makes sense. So I don't know. We'll see. But she definitely is making money. But all reality shows are like that. I was somebody on Love After Lockup in this group I'm in. It's a show that I recap. They were telling me how the people who go on that show, showing themselves doing the stupid ass dating with people in prison, they only get like one check per season. And it's not even, it doesn't even hit 5 to 10K for everybody. I said, what? But production, they're getting those residuals. But that's like a big issue in general in the television industry. That's why we've seen so many strikes in recent times and all those crazy things. You say
Mhm.
you watched that too. I just recapped that earlier. I think it was yesterday. Love After Lockup. That's my guilty pleasure. I be I love that show. I got to behave on the recaps for it though. Somebody told me I was mean. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try and do better. My mouth is vicious. I'm a Gemini, y'all. I do the best I can. Um, but yeah, these people, the show, stress, headache. Carly, Zane, they probably did have something, but it doesn't matter, especially if it was 20 years ago. He had an Amy moment bringing up some old shit. That's how I felt. Now, everybody discusses the chaotic and scrappy situation. And I was kind of happy that they somewhat held Scrap accountable, like all the other people at the table, because Scrap's trying to make it seem like he's innocent. Happy birthday, another Gemini. I know it's not your birthday, but I like birthdays. That's so cool. Lots of Geminis. We're everywhere. Y'all better hide. We're gonna get you. But it's very strange that Scrappy is trying to paint himself as a victim in this whole situation, and the cast had to remind him, you the one that threw a glass at him. You threw the drink. Hello, little Scrappy Daryl. Like, are you aware?
We have to remember that him telling Zane last episode that if he gave him $5,000 then he would be good with him, which goes to show you that this really ain't about the money. Because why would you be tripping off of $5,000 when you probably make that off of one appearance somewhere? It's realistic because you dropped the ball and it was bigger than what you thought it was going to be, and now you're mad because he doesn't want to include you in it anymore because he did all the work. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong. I'm willing to admit, hey, I will be wrong. But I don't. That's the only way that I see it, because to me, if you had all your P's and Q's together, sir, you would have had a contract. As I said last episode, you would have had a contract because you're a public figure. He's a public figure. Word of mouth don't mean anything if you don't have binding paperwork to back it up. So once again, this is on Scrappy. And then for people to say, oh, Chaotic was still wrong, fine. But at the end of the day, if I'm going into business and I'm a public figure, we get in a contract. I don't care if it was only for a $20 appearance. I'm getting a contract. So,
that's a good point. I think that's where a lot of people say, oh, don't mix business with pleasure. If you do, get your shit in writing. Get a goddamn contract. Always get a contract. And Scrappy has been relevant for much longer than Chaotic. So you would think, as somebody who I listened to, and I'm 32, I was listening to Scrappy back in high school. So you would think, being in the industry, oh, that's going to make me feel old for at least 15 years, that you would understand. Shut up,
I'm
James.
older than you, so I don't want to hear it.
I know, but I'm going through that time where I'm just like, I got so much to do.
Let me tell you, when I tell you, I feel like I am running out of complete time. And I still ain't made it to the pinnacle that I want to make it at, and I will be 35 in 2 months, 3 months. I'm like, what the heck? So yeah.
Oh yeah, it gets worse. I want to find you on your birthday this year because I have PTO. So I want to come to Arizona when it's not hot.
It's gonna be hot shit. Arizona.
Not like when I came the last time.
No, it's not gonna be that hot. No, it's not gonna be that hot.
I thought I was gonna die.
No, hell, I ain't doing nothing. I thought about, come on down so we can go to Vegas.
You want to go to Vegas?
I don't want to be in Phoenix.
Oh, I'll take you to Vegas. We should go to Vegas. I'm so serious. I'll book a.
I want to go to Hell's Kitchen.
Oh Lord, let me see these comments. Quay agrees. Scrappy drank the bag. He definitely did. Quay also stated, Scrappy could have done something. Been on Love and Hip Hop and never seen him in the. That's a good point. Jenny said, older than both of y'all. We have a lot of subscribers that are older than us.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like it actually contributes well to the live, because the older someone is, the more wisdom, the more life experience. And that helps when analyzing the foolery we see on TV. I'm trying
Mhm.
to tell you. 46 years
You
young.
don't look it at all. This is your picture on your profile
Right.
on Crazy Canary Diamond. I wouldn't have gotten 26 is what you look like in that picture. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I will say you're
Thrive
very
up. Thrive up. Shani,
mhm.
ain't it always hot as
It's not.
it's not. It's really not.
It's a very big misconception. It is hot for 4 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It is beautiful every other time. It is very cold right now. We're still in 50-degree weather, and it's 5 o'clock here.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it is not always hot in Arizona. I think that people always put that stimula and just ran
Because
with
you
it.
think we're taught, oh, the desert's hot. I was surprised. I went to Vegas with my dad and his wife for Christmas. The year I got married, they wanted to get us a trip. Me and my husband didn't pack not one jacket. We got out there. I was in Treasure Island. Can I buy a sweater? The Palazzo Venetian. I can I buy a sweater? I spent all my money on sweaters. I didn't even gamble. It was cold as hell. I said, "Oh, the
Mm,
desert gets hot." I thought you think you know until you experience it. You think you know. She said, "Yep, and I'm a grandmother of two." Wow, that's
wow, that's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
Is
I
it weird? I'm always
aspire.
more excited about becoming a grandparent than a parent, and I know that's backwards. I know that's backwards, but I love my grandma. Grandparents are great. 50 degrees, Hobie. Right now it's 27 where I'm
Well,
that's
you can always come down to Phoenix. I'm telling you, everybody from California moving here, so especially from LA.
It was Shayna, another YouTuber we connected with. You guys should subscribe to her channel as well, Shayna underscore MCD. But she is on the East Coast and they was having a snow. It's frozen right now. And I must have said something. I was like, girl, I'm cold. She's like, no, you're not. I said, wait, Lord. Hot best. Before y'all go to Vegas, make sure they picked up all that Formula One stuff. I went a few weeks ago. Oh yeah, whenever Vegas has Formula One, EDC, and the lovers and friends, which doesn't always happen, the traffic is horrible. You can't get anywhere, and people are like
Girl,
drunker than they
nothing
normally
happens on
would
my
be.
birthday weekend in Vegas. That's why I always go.
Nothing happens.
Mm-mm.
That's like one of the best times to go to Vegas, in my opinion. That
In spring, yeah, it is
yeah,
absolutely. Whoever's residency there, I don't know if it's a good one. I don't mind it, but no, nothing really happens on my birthday weekend in there. I just I'm good with a Fat Tuesdays and Fremont Street. I really am.
you like Fremont Street? I'd be going to Fremont Street. I end up
Just to see the talent of who's there. There's always somebody on that stage.
I went the year Aaron Carter passed away, and I was so
Oh,
glad that I got to see him perform for free. I love Aaron Carter. For those who don't know, don't ask. But I was so happy to see him perform before he passed away. I was like, yes. And shout out to Texas. That is somewhere that people keep trying to get me to move to Texas, but I feel like so many people from California moved to Texas, Arizona, Vegas,
let
and
me tell
Denver.
you, my job is in Dallas. I have Atlanta, Florida. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going next because I'm not staying in Phoenix.
You got
So
options.
I have lots of options. Yeah, very much. Lots of options, and I think they're opening another. And then I also can come back to Oakland too, which I won't. But
Come back to the town.
girl, I looked up in my job out there. And I'm in the hood, and the hood too. No,
It's not that bad.
girl, go cut that out.
It's not. I'm from that area, so I'm like, it's not that bad. But you know,
My dad's house is up the street.
I
I
know.
know.
But you'll be good. You got family there. You got my family. I'm trying to get James. I'm in Oakland, y'all. I'm trying to get James back to me, but he won't come.
I won't.
Been
I'm not
trying
trying to
for
struggle like that.
over a
I'm just not.
decade.
I'm not trying to struggle like that. I'm already struggling as it is. I ain't trying to struggle like that.
No, the Bay Area is hard hill. I'm trying to find an escape. I just can't seem to bring myself to move too far away from Oakland. James knows this, but I'm gonna get there one day. I'm gonna get there. So Amy mentions her issues that she has with Scrap. She suddenly feels like she has to speak up about being unfollowed. Who the fuck cares, Amy? But she makes it stated at a table full of people that he unfollowed her, and she doesn't understand why. And I was actually surprised to see Bambi step in and kind of make sense of it. She was like, well, at the time we wasn't cool and he was talking shit about me to you. Now me and him is good and he don't want to have and be involved with my ops, which I agree. They do have small kids. They have to interact. It makes it harder if you are having beef and hanging out with her ops. However, at the same time, you have small kids and nothing should get in the way of you interacting with your spouse that you had these kids with about the kids. So it's a weird situation, but Bambi did kind of make sense in that situation. Scrap says he never dated Amy. I believe him. I don't think they ever dated. I think this is the perfect example of the enemy of my enemy is my friend in real time. And then Scrap got cool with her, changed her mind. So what irritated me with Amy is she did that wishy-washy stuff, and she said that she never dated him, making us Geminis look bad. Even though we've been seeing her talk all season, last season, about how they talking on the phone, they dating, and MTV paid the receipts. They showed it. So I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Scrappy explains that he don't want to be in between his baby mama and her beefs and the arguments she has. I'm like, why are you just now recognizing that? Because y'all cool. But when Bambi pisses you off again, are you going to get in between her beefs to be irritating towards her? Like, is that what you really want to do? So Bambi interrupts him and is like, don't call me a baby mama. She don't want to be called a baby mama because she had her kids with him when they were married, not when she was a side chick and all of that. She's like, when I had my kids, we were married for years and all of this stuff, and I gave him 3 of it. I'm not a baby mama. She's not. I actually agreed with her. She is
I
not.
did too.
But it was just
I
a
did.
weird moment to,
It was just weird coming out of her mouth.
because we know how she started. It was
Right.
confirmed that.
It's just weird coming out of her mouth. Yeah, because she is right. She is right. But at the same time, it's just weird coming out of her mouth. You're like, when someone tells the truth that you don't expect them to tell the truth, and because they're
Yep.
always full of shit. That's how I felt with her. I felt like, yeah, you're right, but damn, it coming out your mouth is just weird. And
It doesn't make sense.
and the thing about Amy, y'all have to say, Amy is an ain't shit ass woman. She just is.
Preach.
And I feel like, in today's time, her being with Dwight Howard is actually the best match that I think I could ever find for her.
It's going to
But,
humble her.
yeah, this is gonna humble her for real. And and I wish her well. I do. I don't have anything against her. I just think, like this "Are y'all watching?" comment says, she was a bad addition to the show because she really is not the
I
best
felt
person.
that way early on, and I spoke on it a little bit in the other recaps. And I believe you did as well, because she started with the whole stuff with her mama. Then she went to that weird situation with that Mozzie guy. It's everything that Amy does is like she has to either be shown getting a man, dealing with a man. It's always a man involved, and it's starting to make her, in my opinion, look a little bit thirsty. I don't understand it. I also agree with this comment as well. In addition to her being a bad addition to the show, I do also feel like what Shani says, she's beating a dead horse with blocking her. He told her the other day why he blocked her. Thank you. Why the fuck are you bringing it up again, Amy? You keep bringing up the same stuff over and over and over. And then when people get frustrated and respond to her in with that frustration, she don't know what to do. She has no clue what to do. I also agree with the fact that she should be embarrassed, because Bambi made a point. This is now the third man that is denying her. Why do you feel the need to tell everybody who you date? Every man that call you pretty. As women, you can look like an actual pebble that's been stepped on and beaten up, just rough as hell. And you will probably still have stories of men that want you, get at you, try to, like, it's just what comes with being human to a certain extent. So it's like Amy got to tell us every piece of work that she get or who liked her. She said Amy is confrontational. She's not a girl's girl either. Oh, not at all. Because if I'm watching Zayn and she's like, I'm close with his wife, then why the hell aren't you on your phone texting her? Because trust and believe, if I'm on a trip and I see somebody James is dating acting a fool, I'm taking pictures and videos and texting them in real time.
No,
We on
that's not.
FaceTime and I'm
That's
flipping
not
the
what she.
camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say she gonna FaceTime me first. and point the phone directly in this man's face and whatever the situation going so I can see it. That's what she gonna do. And if she can't reach me, then that's when I get a whole bunch of pictures and flooded timeline of, you want me to do something?
If
You
you're gonna
want to
be
come
in
in?
somebody's business, be in their business correctly. Come with
Right.
receipts
Yeah,
and proof.
exactly. Exactly. That's exactly, and vice versa. So it's
Hot
like
mess.
that's why we are.
DM Rocks was good. DM Rocks states, I like Amy. I like how she put Bambi and Sierra in their place at one time. Now, she did do that. I think Amy's downfall and problem is really that she always got to show herself with these boys. She does not do well when it comes
It
to these
gives me because
boys.
she has sisters that are around her age that she's always had to compete with affection and love from their mama. And I think that that translates how she connects with women when it comes to her being in this environment and maybe in also her friend groups. And the one way that you can show your best competition is the man you get, which is why we see her acting this way. And in today's time, how she's acting with Dwight Howard. I feel like she always has to show that she's better than whatever's around her. And I think that that's why it comes off the way that it does. That's just my observation of her.
I think that's a spot on observation. I don't know why the hell I'm struggling to talk, but yeah, it's weird. She needs to let it go with Scrap. So this is where Carly interrupts everything and pulls a Carly Red, which you could tell Carly's just itching to have a moment like she used to have years ago, and it just does not give anymore. But Carly interrupts Scrappy to ask, "Do you got a baby on the way?" And she used her seniority on the cast to do it. I've known him and been on this cast with him the longest. Do you got a baby on the way? Yes, James just spoke an entire word with an observation. Should have been a behavioral analyst or something. I'm trying to tell you. The but Bambi was bothered by Carly asking Scrappy if he has a baby on the way at the table, which was weird. You're not with him anymore. I understand this impacts your kids and then potentially having another sibling, but he chooses to do a show. And she asked the questions that everybody wanted to know because Scrappy was not going to bring that up. And in real time, we know that he did have a baby. He had a threesome with a girl he was dating, and her friend, who was a part of the threesome, ended up pregnant by him. Now, I would like to say this. I'm not against threesomes. Do I prefer them? Absolutely not. But I don't judge people who have done that, especially if you're not married. You know what I mean? If you're married having threesomes, I find it odd personally. But if you're not married having threesomes, whatever, that's your business. He's single, right? But I'm looking at that whole situation because it's so strange. Like, why would the girl who was dating Scrappy invite her friend to have a threesome and her friend's not on birth control or nothing? Like, the whole situation's weird.
Or
But he
they
does have
require
a
him to put on a condom.
it's the right. Like I said, whole situation is weird. But Bambi's bothered, and this is where Zane starts to tell some lies, acting like he is baffled at what these ladies are doing. And the ladies are kind of like, well, you was just on our side going off about Scrappy too, which he didn't actually go off about, but he did agree, like, it does appear that Chaotic is right and Scrappy is wrong when talking about siding with somebody. And Amy gets mad that Zane lies about being on Chaotic side, and she ends up walking out and walking off. We've seen her get mad for less. We'll see her get mad for less again, and we'll see her get mad for more as well. But I personally do not care if Scrappy has a baby on the way. I don't give a damn. Does anyone else care? I wouldn't be surprised. He said he way too old to be skeeting all in the raw with a stranger. Listen, Scrappy
I
is a
would just
boy.
think, even if there was no ill intent, I would think you would just want to be careful just for general purposes. Like, you don't want another potential STD. You don't want, I mean, not another, I'm sorry. Backtrack what I just said, allegedly. You don't want potential children. I just think you would just be more careful. And maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Are y'all watching? Say it's like Kurt's so-called baby. I really think that it's not Kurt baby, but his grandchild.
I don't care about the situation. I don't believe it's real either. I believe Kirk and Rashida's playing in our faces, and y'all know they constantly play in our faces. Like I'm starting to wonder between
Mm,
Rashida's mama and Kirk, what the hell really is going on? Because I still can't get past that video where that mama was grinding on Kirk's lap.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Rashida just sitting on the other side of the room talking about some. It was like,
Stupidity at its finest. The
I
one thing
was
that
like,
was said in this final scene with Scrappy when they're discussing chaotic, he did mention like, "Cuz just need to pay me my money for my work." So basically, you just want him to pay you because you're on camera. But he's not even on camera in the videos that Chaotic has. It's just Chaotic being around his family.
it's like
So if
once again,
anything, why aren't you advocating for Chaotic to pay Imani? Why does it have to be you? Because of the videos that they showed, I saw Imani, I saw Mama D, I saw Subscribes Aunties. I did not see him there. So I'm just,
I'm gonna say this once again, Daryl. If you wanted to get paid and you want things to be right and to do the right thing, you would have had a contract before he even posted any of that. You don't get to cry months later about it and think that, oh, well, he now owes you money when you should have had that in binding contract in the first place. We wouldn't have to go through this because the stuff that he could have got off the internet too because you were on public television.
yep. Yeah, ain't nothing you could do about it. Ain't nothing you could do about it. Cause I guarantee you the producers of Love and Hip Hop are making more money off your family than you have. So let's just say
Preach.
that and put that out there. Scrap is all sorts of backwards, but we gonna see what happens. Amy stormed out. I don't think anyone cared. I feel like Amy is doing so much, doing too much. Scrap is tripping. Bambi's lost. Hot Mess Express was this episode, but we will be back again next week to go over the next episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. It looks like more will happen. I'm curious to see what more will happen. We are not that far into this split season. We are going to be recapping the Housewives of Beverly Hills next, which I'll be doing after this live. And then tomorrow we'll be on James's channel for the Housewives of Salt Lake City. Is that
Yes,
all?
that's all.
Oh, I don't know why I felt like we had
It's the
more.
season finale of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, y'all. So y'all don't want to miss it. This season has been excellent.
It has. They actually did very well this season. I will agree with that. I would. But you guys should tune in. Subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. We hope that you like the video. But I will see everybody on the next live. And I thank you, James, for being here. And thank you all for your support. Adios.
Ayun.